So everybody these days is talking about services like Design Joy and how you can make up to $1 million a year as a solo designer by basically creating a productized service instead of freelancing in the old-fashioned way. So by offering either fixed projects or hourly rates. And in this video, I want to explain a few of my ideas in this regards. And I also had a call with Brett from Design Joy, which was a $750 call. And I think it was definitely worth it. I really enjoyed talking with him. And he gave me a lot of really useful insights. And part of them I'm going to share in this video. And I also tried myself the recurring revenue model, and I think it definitely has a lot of pros overall. So let's briefly talk about it because in the past, what I always used to do is always offer an hourly rate or work on a fixed project, but I do understand that recurring revenue is a really useful thing, but it's not all sunshine and rainbows. And the reason why I'm saying this is that recurring revenue works for a specific set of clients. So if you're going to offer these type of services, do know in advance that your client range, your target market is going to shrink to a limited amount, which is totally fine. So not everybody that you're going to pitch your design services is going to say yes. And the main reason being is that you're going to service clients which need design services for the long term, and they're not looking for short-term projects for the very most part. There's also other things to keep in mind, such as the more clients you take on as a solo designer, especially in the recurring model, the better you're going to have to be at managing those clients. And you definitely need some solid SOPs around that, and also understand your limits when it comes to your bandwidth and your strength and what you're offering. Now, that being said, I myself, I'm working with recurring models whenever I am looking for a client. So at the moment, I'm actually like my bandwidth is full. I'm full time. I'm good to go for the time being. But in the past, what I did is I always try to find clients which has recurring needs for design, because that I think makes your life way easier. Because say that you work 1 month with five clients that just need you for 1 month. What happens the next month? You always have to chase like new clients, and chasing new clients is an effort in both the marketing and the active outreach that you have to do. And unless you hire a team, you always have to do a lot of work just to find new clients. So it's almost a no-brainer to find someone which is in need of a design for the long run. So I would say that is one of the first considerations. But again, when you're doing the outreach, and I try to do outreach specifically using recurring models, so monthly recurring models, exactly like Design Joy. So I would say in you have 1 month, and I'm going to do X, Y, and Z, and this is the price. And especially if you're going with the premium prices, which that was my case because I have 10 years of experience. I know that I can bring a lot of value on the table, work with over 40 clients, including Fortune 500 companies. So I'm not going to sell my services for a low price, let's say. The higher the price, the harder the sell is going to be. And one of the reasons why I think that Design Joy had a lot of success, and based on my feeling and what Brett discussed and mentioned to me, is that he had a lot of exposure, and that exposure helped him automate the lead generation because he wasn't doing a lot of lead generation and the marketing efforts in those regards. He had a lot of exposure from things like Twitter, then also a landing page site, and also initially he mentioned the Indie Hacker. That was a really good source of leads for him. So he was, I would say, he was really strategic as to the amount of time that he put into sharing things that would then eventually attract clients. So that was really, props to him on that part. I would say that for most people out there, especially since they are not pioneers of this model, and he was, so he definitely brought a lot of eyeballs and attention to his agency. It's going to be harder if you approach it in the traditional sense. So you really have to be strategic as well as to how you're going to invest your time in the outreach, because he hopped on hundreds of discovery calls, and that means that he had a lot of views to his website. And if you're just doing this alone and you don't really have that exposure, I can tell you that it's going to make it more difficult to find those type of clients we specifically are looking for someone on a recurring basis, especially part-time. So that's something that you have to keep in consideration. Not saying that it's impossible. Definitely, there's a lot of opportunity on the table, a lot of companies who are looking for designers. And I think that this model is really advantageous for them and flexible, which is two things which, obviously is really positive on that sense. But on the other side, you're going to find probably, especially like smaller client work, more easily if you approach it on an hourly basis. So my best recommendation would be to try and create a funnel where you're hopping on a discovery call with a client. And then, based on the discovery call, since you're going to ask a lot of different questions to really understand what the client is looking for, then you can essentially propose them if going with a recurring base or doing something within an hourly or fixed project. Because regardless of this type of monetization, you can make a lot of money with all three of them, especially going with a fixed project or recurring. So it's not like you're going to lack opportunities to make a lot of money if you structure things well with going with either of these. But again, for the sake of simplicity, you want to choose the simplest option for that specific case. So I would say keep your mind open when it comes to these elements. And if you want to go and just do a subscription based agency or solo agency, absolutely go for it. There's definitely a lot of demand on this, but I would recommend for you to niche down as much as possible and really have a bird's eye perspective on who are your competitors and how you can differentiate from them. I always think, see that you're pitching to a client and all these other companies are pitching to them. What makes you different? Why should they choose you? And why you are the no-brainer offer? Because if you are the no-brainer offer for that specific client, they're going to choose you. So always keep that in mind. And yeah, keep going, keep experimenting, and trying new things because that's pretty much the only way that you can achieve whatever you really want. So I hope this video was helpful. If you enjoyed it, feel free to check out the other videos on my channel, and feel free to reach out to me if you need any help with anything design related. And I'll see you in the very next video.